Catus, Maximus here. ThruNite sent over, and I do appreciate them for continuing to sponsor this, or they don't give me a financial sponsorship, but they give me free flashlights, and certainly not something I can afford, so I do appreciate it. They came out with the high-power right-angle flashlight, the TH30 V2. Of course, in the box, we have some decent padding, usual silica gel, extra O-rings, extra port cover. We do have a clip, which I do like. Let's get that out of here. Manual. They ship it with the back unscrewed, so you got to screw down the back. And the obligatory silica gel. Anyway, here's our little unit. Looks pretty similar to the V1, unsurprisingly. They are powerful flashlights. They do get pretty hot. But there isn't a whole lot of right-angle flashlights, so I kind of do like these. It's mainly cosmetic changes. As far as the output, they actually dropped it a tiny amount, but I believe they're using a newer version of a Cree LED. Meaning this is 3320 lumens, where the old one was 3350. Except for this would only maintain turbo mode for 1.5 minutes or 90 seconds. This will maintain turbo for 2 minutes, so that's actually a whopping 33% increase in the amount of time it can spend in turbo mode before starting the throttle. It is a new machining on the body. We can see where they've kind of smoothed it out a little bit around the lens. These are coated tempered glass lenses, which is nice. We can see the V2 where the old one was printed on the side. And then on the body, to tell you the truth, I did like the knurling better, to tell you the truth. Even though this is a little bit more stylish, to tell you the truth, I still, once again, kind of prefer the knurling. I do like the fact that the belt clip is dual direction now. We can see the old one, you could put it in the lower or upper position, you know, pointing upwards or downwards, and it's just a single belt clip. They are pretty strong. On this one, it's a universal, so you can clip it on both directions, either this way or this way, in addition to being able to have it in either this position or this position. So I'm not exactly sure. You just have kind of odd choices because you have 2 positions on the light, 2 positions on the clip. I suppose I'll put it on this way this time. It is bent, so it does clear this little shelf. Once again, actually this one's it's a little bit longer, so it isn't quite as stiff. Probably a little easier to put on. It is it is USB-C charging. Actually, I'm not sure if the old one was USB-C. Nope, the old one was, if we can see it here, micro USB, so that's the other monetization. And the top switch has been greatly expanded, much, much larger than the old unit. This is indeed an 18650 flashlight, and we'll take a look at that cell using ThruNite's 3100 milliamp hour IMR. So this is a not only high performance, but it has integrated. This is known as a protected cell, so it's going to be a little bit longer, which is kind of nice. Once again, gold-plated screw. And we do have a little bit of grease in there. I think that would be dielectric grease, which I do like the attention to detail. Dielectric grease keeps the O-ring from bunching up and actually makes it effective. And then, of course, we now have, come on now, camera, USB-C charging. So that's the V2 is essentially just modernized. It's not really brighter than the old unit, but it does have better performance characteristics. Certainly plenty bright. Stepped. Only 3 levels. If you press and hold, you get the Firefly. I don't think this has a lockout now. Certainly is bright on turbo mode. I don't know if you could really see the difference. Both of these are cool white. But I'll go for a little walk around outside. Before that, the biggest thing I'll mention about the ThruNites is this thing, which is their headband. It's generally pretty comfortable, but they do need to improve on this. The reason is if you actually wear this and you have this on your forehead without it being over a baseball cap or a beanie, even though this is a pretty soft silicone, the strap, probably better this way, as it's stretched over your skin, is constantly pressing this edge right into your skin. You end up with some pretty deep indentations. So I think it would be better if they somehow shaped this so it's just a bit thinner and went out a bit wider so that doesn't pinch into your forehead quite as badly. And the color temperature has changed a little bit. I think these are still both labeled cool white. We'll show the difference. Here's this unit. And you can see this one, it almost looks like it's a warm white version. But compared to the actual warm white, it's definitely bluer than that. It just isn't quite as blue as the older unit. Nope, I'm incorrect. They're actually calling this their neutral white. So this is the older one with the cool white. This is the newer one with the neutral white. We can see just a slight difference in the shape, not much, but it seems that this one has a little bit more flood. Anyway, let's go do a little bit of walking around. And before I forget here, if my camera would darn focus, this is much, much brighter. Pretty easy to see the blue for good. It will change to red when you're charging or when the battery's low. But I do like that that light's a little bit brighter. And the larger button is really easy to hit. Maybe a little bit too easy, considering it does not have an electronic lockout. I really wish all these lights included electronic lockouts. This button is pretty bulbous and out there. Just to talk about again, we can see where this one I actually liked a bit better just because it wasn't quite as easy to hit. This one is just super easy to hit, but also super easy to hit accidentally when it's in your pocket. Going to use your flashlight and ends up being dead. Alright, so here we have low, whoop, medium, not too bad, high, and then turbo. And we can see this is a floodlight. Can barely light up the trees in my usual spot here, but definitely pretty bright. They sent me the neutral white because I suppose they sent me the cool white light last time. These type of lights do much better when you're or in very cold weather. It's about 35 degrees where I'm at right now, and they can just maintain their turbo mode for longer. They have a better ability to cool themselves, the aluminum body, in cool weather. In the summertime, these things superheat super fast. Sorry about that cut, dropped my phone. So as a floodlight, these are like, you know, great for working on stuff and pretty good for hiking. But I would have to say I would prefer a little bit more focus. Although I guess that's more of a personal preference, especially considering that you're really not going to be running on turbo mode. Whoop. Come on now. This is about the brightness on high. This is where it can maintain full brightness for like an hour or something, a little over an hour. I forget on the documentation. But there is a big difference between this, whoop, and the turbo. It's like twice as bright on the turbo mode. Something else I'm going to mention I just noticed is it seems to have much more aggressive power management. I've only had it on for a couple minutes on a freshly charged battery, and if you watch, it's pretty hard to see, but it goes to turbo and then immediately drops to high, and I've only been running it for a couple 3 minutes. It's kind of interesting. I wonder if it's just because it thinks it's too warm and it just has more aggressive temperature compensation. Kind of hard to demonstrate, but this either has much more aggressive temperature regulation or much more aggressive voltage compensation. But I only was using this for a couple minutes, and then on turbo mode before, and I was trying to show in the video, it would go on turbo and like half a second later it would drop down to just high mode, which seems a little bit odd. Otherwise, welcome changes with USB-C, etc. I had Wish that this one did have a lanyard, and you kind of can attach it here. A little bit easier on this one to put a lanyard right on the end of this, so that I suppose that's okay. I guess my biggest criticism is, even though that's a big, easy-to-use button, I mean, you're just going to bump this anywhere in your bag. That's going to get turned on, and it's going to run the battery down on you, which has a bit unfortunate. So you're going to have to be careful with that button. The other issue with the button that sticks out this much is if you drop it or anything like that, this is really exposed, pretty easy to get torn or damaged, and they don't include a replacement. I'm not even sure how you would replace those buttons. Other than that, I appreciate ThruNite sending me over another flashlight. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.